In 1957, United Artists released Reginald Rose's 12 Angry Men, a legal drama in which 12 unnamed jurors decide whether or not a young man will face the death penalty. They begin deliberation, and all but one vote to convict. Over the course of the film, this man, juror number 8, convinces all other 11 members to switch their votes.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Most by reason, but some by exposing how their prejudice has blinded them to the reality of the situation.
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
Ultimately, there is a shadow of a doubt, but their assumptions about the accused behavior because of his race, age, and class cause them to judge his character more harshly. At one point, late in the film, now losing the vote 9-3, juror number 10 launches into a diatribe.
Look, you know how these people lie? It's born in them. I mean, what the heck? I don't have to tell you. They don't know what the truth is. And let me tell you, they don't need any real big reason to kill someone either. No, sir.
The bigotry displayed by juror number 10 and its control over us, whether explicit or not, is one of the central themes of the film. The idea that
wherever you run into it, prejudice always obscures the truth.
It is this idea that my adaptation, titled The Trial of Alex Bowman, would seek to explore. The audience, now serving as the jury themselves, would be presented with core evidence and arguments that are alluded to and argued over within the original deliberation, as an expedited version of the trial plays out before them. The evidence would be balanced so as to create a strong indication of the accused's guilt, but not outright proof of it. They are then broken up into groups and taken away to deliberate amongst themselves. After a predetermined amount of time, the juries are welcomed back into the courtroom and are asked to deliver their votes, at which point a brief scene plays out as the judge hands down the corresponding verdict, as determined by a popular vote, unlike the unanimous one required by the film. What is especially unique about this production is that the accused, hereby named Alex Bowman, is played by a pool of actors of varying genders, ethnic identities, and accents. The facts of the case remain exactly the same regardless. Same weapon, same witnesses, same alibi. The only scripted change necessary would be the use of the correct pronouns. This change would not be revealed to the audience until after the show has concluded, and they are greeted on their way out by a lobby display, which was unavailable to them before the show. First would be a screen detailing how they voted that day and how past audiences have voted when that particular actor stood trial. Then would be other screens detailing the relative acquittal and conviction rates for the actors, detailing how often they are let free or put to death, and by how many votes they are either cut loose or condemned to die. It would also display how many votes for acquittal they've received over time, to detect how audience behavior has changed. Already, the audience is led to wonder if they might have voted differently had Alex looked like someone else. And were they willing to believe certain witness testimony or evidence more zealously based on their preconceived notions of different kinds of people? Would they have attacked or defended Alex more or less intensely if he or she had looked more like themselves? The audience is finally presented with these trends and statistics compared to each other, and therefore have to pursue the line of questioning which has already begun. How exactly does the theater-going public respond to the same facts when they're about different kinds of people? And are they prejudiced? And given the opportunity to exercise judgment without being self-conscious, do they exercise that prejudice? These are vital and important questions for any society which seeks to uphold justice as its firmest pillar of good. Even more so in one which faces increasing accusations and evidence of injustice in its policing and sentencing. The sense of superiority expressed by juror number 10, which existed in 1957, was considered regressive by the filmmaker even then.
Look, they're rushing it up and fighting all the time, and if somebody gets killed, so somebody gets killed, they don't care. Oh, sure, there's some good things about them, too. Look, I'm the first one to say that. I've known a couple who were okay, but that's the exception, you know what I mean? Most of them, it's like they have no feelings. They can do anything.
And nearly 60 years later, then presidential candidate Donald Trump echoes this same racist, xenophobic, exceptionalist attitude in a speech he gave in Arizona.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting. And it only makes common sense.
It seems as though juror number 10 is not, as much as we'd like him to be, a relic of the past. Prejudice, profiling, and stereotypes existed in 1957, and they still exist now. At the highest levels of government to the most domestic of human interaction, and almost certainly in more of us than would ever admit it. Prejudice is not innocuous. It is insidious and destructive. The lives of defendants are placed within the collective hands of their peers, a jury tasked with the impartial consideration, deliberation, and decision-making of the legal system. But if the people who make up our systems of justice aren't impartial, then how can we ever hope this system itself to be equitable? Governments rule by the consent of the governed, and so a failure of government is likewise a personal and collective failure on the part of the governed. And so, I ask you, having seen the many faces of Alex Bowman, would their skin color change your judgment? Would their gender cloud your thinking? Would their nationality, accent, or mother tongue lead you to make an assumption? And just as in the actual show, that's not for me to answer. The trial of Alex Bowman does not stand in judgment of its audience, but instead asks its audience how they stand in judgment of others.
My name is Alex Bowman.
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 My name is Alex Bowman, and I plead not guilty.